Hi, fifth graders. Welcome to math. So this is a little bit different than if we were in the classroom. If we were in the classroom, myself or Miss Mountain would be presenting the lesson with you, and I'm going to take you through the same way we would in the classroom, only we would be stopping and having you practice problems. We would have you repeat the learning target. We would have you, collaborating with your table, and obviously in this setting, we can't do that in this video. I'm still going to ask you to say the learning target. I'm going to ask you to hit pause to copy down things. When I ask you to hit pause, please be sure to copy down. If you don't have your novel notebook and a pencil with you, hit pause right now and go grab it. Okay. And then don't worry if you go through this and you're not feeling comfortable. The good news is right after this lesson, you'll be meeting with us for group. So that's when you can get more practice with us directly and ask questions. And so don't feel concerned if at the end of this video you don't feel totally fine. Okay? The good news about a video is you can hit pause and rewind, and you can rewatch us do the lesson over and over and listen to our explanation until you get it at your own pace. So that's the benefit of the video. And don't worry, you're still going to have that interaction. It'll just be after the lesson. Okay, so this is how the structure will go. I'll take you through it and hang in there. Just be patient. I know this isn't the best way to be learning math, but this is the best way that we think we can do it in this distance learning. So it's going to be great. Here we go. All right, so today's learning target, I can multiply 2 digits by 1 digit using the algorithm. So we know in 4th grade they have you guys doing the area model and different things, but in 5th grade you have to master the algorithm, and I'm going to show you what that means today. And don't worry, we have the whole year to be practicing this. Okay, so that's our learning target. The success criteria is just things that skills that you need to be able to do in order to be successful with our learning target. So let's take a look at what you need. I can quickly recall my multiplication facts, like 9 times 7, 8 times 6. Now don't panic if you don't have all of your multiplication facts memorized. You can still do this skill, just know it might take you a little longer. I recommend when we are practicing the multiplication algorithm, I believe you have a multiplication chart in your planner, and it's okay to be looking at that while we're practicing and be practicing your multiplication facts. That's okay, okay? The other success criteria is I can add numbers. You all can add numbers. We're not worried about that one. And I can recognize place value. And for today, we're just doing 2 digit and 1 digit. So we just are looking at the tens place, the ones place, the ones place. Those are just super basic, right? Tens and ones. That's all you'll hear me say. Okay? So I'm going to ask you in a moment to copy everything that's on the sheet. You're going to copy into your notebook. It's our learning target, and it is the step-by-step directions of how to do today's skill. So what I'm going to ask you to do is hit pause and copy this into your notebook. So go ahead and hit pause. Okay. Thank you for copying that down. Good job following directions. So now we're going to start our practice. Here we go. Okay. So you'll take a look, and you guys can see that problem. Yeah, you can. So we have 31 times 2. The first thing with doing algorithm is you need to write it vertically, and you can see I've already copied these vertically. So if it was written 31 times 2, you'd need to recopy it vertically like this, okay? Now we're going to start, as the directions that you copied down is multiply the ones place. These first 3, there'll be no regrouping, and I'll show you what that looks like with more practice. So we're gonna start with the ones and multiply the ones. You always start with the bottom number and you multiply the top number. So 2 times 1 is 2. And now we're going to use the ones place times the tens. 2 times 3 is 6. And then double check that your answer makes sense. 31, that's close to 30. Is 30 doubled, or 30 times 2 would be 60. So 62 is pretty close. So I know my answer is reasonable. Let's take a look at this one. Again, we're going to start with the bottom number always. We're always going to start with this location. 3 times 3 is 9. And now 3 times 4 is 12. So I have 129. Let's see if that seems reasonable. 43 is similar to 40. 40 times 3 would be 120. So we're pretty close. It's a reasonable answer. Okay, what I'd like for you to do right now is try this one on your own. Go ahead and copy this into your notebook and hit pause and try it, and then come back and I will show you what to do. So hit pause and try that one, please. Okay, welcome back. All right, we're gonna start here. 2 times 4, we know is 8, and 2 times 2, 48. Check and see if that seems reasonable. We know 24 is close to 25, and 25 doubled would be 50, so that is pretty close. So how'd you do on that one? Hopefully you did well. Again, coming back to our learning target, we are multiplying 2 digits times 1 digit using the standard algorithm. All right, so now we're gonna move on to the regrouping, which is going to be a little bit more common. It'll be a little less rare that less common that you would have no regrouping. So now we're going to have some regrouping practice, and that just means like carrying over, just like when you do addition, excuse me. So we're going to start the same exact thing. 7 times 3, I know is 21, okay? I'm going to write 21 so we can look at this number. Now I'm not going to write down 21 below here. That wouldn't make any sense. I haven't moved into the tens place yet. So I'm only going to put down the 1 for the ones place, and I'm going to carry the 2 over to the tens place. Do we see that? See how that's really 20? I'm going to carry that tens over to the tens and group him with there, okay? Now, 7 times 4 is 28, plus 2 more would be 30. And now I'll write down my 30. So that is regrouping. When you end up with 2 digits, you cannot write 2 digits down here. You need to put the back end, the ones down, and move the tens over to the next place. Let's give it another try with 65 times 4. I'm going to start with 4 times 5, which is 20. Okay, I'm going to write it here so you can see it. I'm going to put that ones down. I'm going to carry that tens over to the tens place. 4 times 6 is 24, plus the extra would be 26. Okay, how are we doing? All right, let's come here. 9 times 2 is 18. I cannot put 2 digits down. That wouldn't make any sense. I can only put the ones down. So I'm going to put the 8 down, carry that 1, which is really a 10, to the tens place. 9 times 8 is 72. 72 plus 1 more would be 73. And we forgot to check for reasonableness, or I did. 80 or so times 9 would be 720. That makes sense, okay? How are we doing? Okay, let's try another one here. 5 times 7, that would be 35. Now I cannot put 2 digits down because that would just look silly. I'm gonna put the ones down, and I'm gonna carry that 30 over to the tens place. That's what he's worth. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 more is 13. Now the reason I'm putting 2 digits down is because I'm finished multiplying. If we have a 3rd digit here, I would carry that next one over all the way until I'm finished. Okay? 8 times 4, 32. Now I cannot put both down. I still have another place value to multiply. I'm not finished. So I'm going to put my 2 down, carry that 3 over to the tens. 8 times 9 is 72, plus 3 is 75. Okay? Hopefully we're doing okay so far. What I'd like for you to do is give this one a try. Copy it down. You're going to hit pause. You're going to copy this down in your notebook and give it a try, and then come back and see how you did, okay? So go ahead and hit pause. We'll wait for you. Okay, welcome back. Let's see how you did on that one. All right. 2 times 6 would be 12. And I'm just writing. You don't have to do this habit. I'm just doing that to show you which number to put down and which one to carry over, but you don't have to do that. I know I'm going to put the 2 down because that's the one in the ones place, and I'm carrying that 10 over to the tens. 2 times 7 is 14, plus 1 more would be 15, so I end up with 152. Did you get it? Yes? No? If you didn't, that's okay. In watching me do it, just see where it is that you're making your error. That'll be part of what we'll talk about in small group, okay? So this was just some practice. You're gonna notice now you'll continue through the slide and you'll do the practice problems in your notebook. I made the slide to where you can't type on the slide. We don't want you typing in the slide. I want you using a pencil in your notebook and writing down all of those problems. You'll see that in the directions, following directions, doing a great job following directions as big 5th graders. All right, I do have an exit slip to finish you off with so you can see in leaving me how today's lesson went. So I'm going to ask you to hit pause and try this in your notebook. Okay, welcome back. Let's see how you did. So we had 29 times 4, and that was with regrouping. The answer would be 116. You can see I had to carry that 3, or what's really a value of 30, over to the tens and add him in after. Did you get it? Maybe? All right, so don't forget to come to group on time. And when you come to group, you're gonna bring your math notebook with your pencil and all of your questions that you need, all right? Or if you're needing challenge, you can communicate that to us too. All right, thanks for joining.